I hope I've made a compelling case for data skepticism. Instead of creating a negative and fearful atmosphere that paralyzes and intimidates us, a healthy level of skepticism is good for business and for fruitful creativity. But of course, that doesn't mean it's easy to create or maintain. Oh, hello there, Derek. How's it going?
Oh,
Was
hey,
just
Thomas, what's up?
was just checking out my new series of data books from O'Reilly. They gave them to me free yesterday, or at least I took them. So,
Wow, they look
yeah,
excellent.
excellent stuff. So yeah, how you been doing, Derek?
I've been doing great. I just retired one of my other podcasts called Peace News, and I'm going to be taking up a new one called Flaming Freedom that people can find online at flamingfreedom.com if you're into gay anarchy. That's really what it's about, so it'll be a lot of fun. Some sex talk and liberty.
Sad to see Peace News go, but at least we have flaming freedom now.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking at sort of a combination of the Howard Stern show meets Free Talk Live, so we'll see how it is.
Very cool. Definitely niche programming. And speaking of things that are on fire, the Bitcoin price dropped around $20 this morning, apparently for no reason at all. So,
Whoa, what the heck?
mhm. I started editing a video. We were in the 240s, and I was like, hey, that's all right. And then I finished editing a video, and we had dropped 20 points to 225. You can see a small possible recovery. But again, this is just someone knows something that someone else doesn't know. And we're also still on the heels of the big Coinbase Lunar Bitcoin exchange announcement, which, as we've seen in the past with Bitcoin, and again, all of you people that are getting this information, you're going to go to jail. There was a huge push of the price upward before the announcement. So if you knew about the Coinbase announcement and you made purchases based on that, that's called insider trading. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen for Bitcoin, but what happens in the real world is the people doing insider trading get caught. So hang on to that one,
Talk
guys.
about that for a second, because what is inherently immoral about insider trading? I mean, isn't all trading?
It violates the basic human idea of fairness. If you work for a company and you know that Tesla is going to release a new battery tomorrow that it's 1,000 times better than the old battery, even if you made the battery, you have insider knowledge. Like you should be rewarded for selling that battery, putting that battery on the product. You shouldn't be rewarded for having knowledge of that battery. And that's what happens is that
Know that it's
Congress
going to do well.
people.
I mean, you're still taking a gamble like everyone else, aren't you?
It's not like everyone else because you have insider knowledge. So and it's not necessarily for people working at the companies, although generally they're prevented from trading and doing these kind of things, but it's for Congress people, business people, people that hear things and then act on them and then use this knowledge unfairly against the market.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, but just to play devil's advocate for a moment, it just seems to me like every trader is always trying to get better info than everyone else. I mean, isn't that what trading is all about? You wouldn't sell or buy if you didn't have info that you thought other people didn't have.
I think it's the difference between a stock trader on Wall Street who's supposed to have kind of a moral code of ethics. I know that's funny,
Yeah.
but and someone like if you've seen the movie Casino, Jimmy's character Jimmy Conway, played by Robert De Niro, he knows everything about the football game. He knows if the guy's been dating, broke up with his girlfriend. He knows if the kicker's on cocaine. He knows all these little details. But again, he's a bookie. He's a gangster. He's using this knowledge to chisel and to adjust the games and to adjust the spread and the points. And I think that's the difference between something seedy and gangster-like gambling, and something that's supposed to be, at least on its face, a respectable thing like stock trading. And I think that it's probably just a question of scale. If you're cheating on a football game, you make a couple $100. If you're cheating on Wall Street, you make a couple $1 million. And I think society's just said, we don't want insider trading. We don't want this kind of garbage pre-knowledge. And as you can see with the Bitcoin price, insider trading messes up the market. What we have here is we have a false push upward.
It's not society that says we don't like insider trading. It's governments. Society doesn't.
Well, government's a
Do.
representation of presumably what society wants under our alleged current system of government. So.
I don't feel like I have any control over what the government does because I wouldn't put people in jail for making money. I mean, it doesn't seem like that's such a bad thing. Why is that so bad if people are making money? Like, why should the punishment be you sit in a jail cell now? I mean, who does that help? Does that correct anything? Does that get their money back? I mean,
Well, the jail and punishment system is, I mean, it's a moral-based system. Everyone has life. You're taking away part of their life for breaking the rules of your society by trying to gain an unfair advantage on other people.
again,
It's
I hear what you're saying, but I would object to that term. I don't think it's the rules of society. It's the rules of governments, if we're going to be accurate.
Governments, for a large part, create our society. If the government said it was okay to riot, we could riot more. If the government said no riots, we'd have less riots, presumably, unless the people were rebellious. I don't know.
I hear you. Just an interesting thought experiment. You know, I always thought that Martha Stewart, when she went to prison for insider trading or whatever, I thought that was ridiculous. Because like, here's Martha Stewart. What is she doing wrong by making money on a trade? I don't really see why she should go to jail or why people who make a trade based on information that they have.
It's just the unfairness that Martha had that knowledge that that stock was going to go down because she worked with the company. So I think that it has to do with when you work with a company, your involvement. Like once you start taking money from that company, once you start contributing your ideas, you're kind of a member of their team. And anything that you do on insider trading, what it really does is it affects their stock. Like right now, Coinbase is a great company, right? They're 75 million in investment. They're worth $400 million. They have, great offices, great people, good website that works, all these different things. Well, what does this insider trading do? Well, certain people within the company, and I don't know this has happened, but let's assume they found out, they told their friends, they told their stockbroker, or they just invested themselves. They just bought a bunch of things. What they're really doing is they're selling out their team, right? They're supposed to get rewarded through the normal proper channels. Like if they have stock options in the company, that's a reward for working within the system.
Why
If they
can't
get paid a salary,
I mean, aren't regular stock investors rewarded for their information?
if a regular, but it's the same thing where the regular stock investor now has access to information that only people on that company, on that team should have. So they're violating that separation of the team that builds the products, the people that invest in the products, the media that reports on it. If the media gets the information, they just make it public.
So I've got an alternative because I'm with you. It seems unfair to me, right? I get that. I'm just saying it also seems unfair to throw these people in jail. So what I propose is, wouldn't it be cool if stock exchanges came up with their own rules? Like there could be some stock exchanges that are like, insider trading is totally cool. We like that. We are okay with that. And they would be like crazy volatile. People would be like, what the hell's going on with this stock? And then there'd be other ones that are like, no, we do not accept insider trading. If we catch any of our partners, any of you stockbrokers, any people doing insider trading on our stock exchange, there are going to be harsh penalties. We're going to throw you in this rape cage like the U.S. government does, and we're going to throw, we're going to throw your family against the wall. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be all kinds of crazy for you. But there could be at least a variety, and people could pick and choose what sort of environment they want to do business in. Like, I feel like a person should be able to have the freedom to take whatever kind of risks they want. And if you are going into a stock exchange with foreknowledge that there is insider trading going on, like, well, at least you know that. I mean, currently,
I don't think that anyone would do that. I think that the stock exchanges that allowed it would be secretive about it, and you'd have this situation where you wouldn't know. And I think that the current system is basically, we know that there are bad things going on, and we want to uncover them, investigate them, and root them out. And we need that impartial third party of the government trying to root out bad actors.
Impartial third party in the government? Aren't you aware that most Congress people, their crimes include insider trading?
Exactly. Well, actually, Congress can legally insider trade, which is a fascinating.
So how's that impartial?
Well, I don't think that they're impartial in that case, but I would say that most of the regulators that are investigating these type of occurrences, they're impartial. They're looking for the facts. I mean, if you've ever met like a serious attorney, they're not joking. They're looking for the facts. Like if they can prove it, that's it. They can prove it. So.
Yeah, growing up in high school, I'm from like the New Jersey, New York area, and one of my friend's dads was an SEC regulator, and I didn't like that. Because I'm like, you're a scumbag. I mean, yeah, you're trying to find fairness and you're trying to do that, but I'm saying you've got to grease your own hands once in a while. I know that you must do some backroom deals and stuff. And how could they not? I mean, the temptation is too great, right? You're the only team there. If at least if there was competition for these regulations, at least if there was like some variety in stock exchanges and stock exchange rules, they could keep each other in check. Like, oh man, this stock exchange, they're all kinds of crooked. You know, this other one, they've got a good reputation for being honest. I mean, I'm just saying, variety and competition sounds like it would produce better results than what we have today.
I'm not so sure. But we do have some stories that are coming in right now. Infinite Radio is sending us stories here in the question and answers box. So if you want to ask us a question, give us some answers. One of the links is not working, the RT link. So if you want to resend that, I'm not having any luck there. But they say, Israeli cyber-analyst reveals ISIS uses Bitcoin for fundraising. Now, this really does sound like a repeat of the old story that many people believe was put out by the dark wallet people that had a very strange PDF and a very strange little blog that didn't look very Islamic. It was very questionable. But many people are saying that perhaps this new ISIS Bitcoin link is the reason for the sudden $20 drop.
Who the hell would send ISIS Bitcoin? Who's doing that?
Bad people, I'd assume.
I mean, really? What? I guess there might be people out there who are like, yeah, I really support ISIS, and they can't take dollars, and Western Union just won't send my money to ISIS. So the only way I can do it is what do they put up? QR codes or something on their latest video?
I was thinking this might be a good time to kick off our donation drive today, now that we're saying that they're giving ISIS Bitcoin, because today is Bitcoin Talk Show, as you can see here with this incredible graphic by Philippe on at Philippe or Philippe.net. Derek likes it. And we've also got one with me with MadBitcoins. Very cool. And today we're raising money for Derek J. Woo! Derek J makes Bitcoin videos. He makes Peace News Now videos, and now he's going to make Flaming Freedom videos. And he's also on LRN FM and Free Talk Live and all these other shows. And you guys should donate to Derek J right now at this QR code. I'm going to get out my wallet right here. I got my Airbits wallet. And, of course, I configured my Airbits wallet so it doesn't ask me for my password anymore. I can just do the PIN number now, which I like much better.
That is much better. I like that about the Airbits wallet. It's a little bit simpler. I still use Mycelium, though, because there's no password. And it's so much.
That's the thing. And I talk to those guys, and they're good guys, and they want to change and improve. But it's a fine line between trying to protect, like, grandma and, like, making it easy enough for someone that's really lazy, like perhaps myself.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to be lazy because I don't want any security on my regular wallet. There's no security on my regular wallet. When I open up and pull out some cash or pull out one of my cards, there's no password on that. There's no lock. So, why would I want a lock on my phone wallet? If I'm going to have, like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's appropriate. I have all sorts of different wallets, and web wallets definitely have passwords. But on a phone wallet, I don't want all those extra steps. I just want click, open. And thanks.
All right, so I got my calculator. I'm going to give Derek J $2 because $2 is a good amount. And look, he used this slide to send button on the Airbits. Isn't that cool? You can like slide to send. It's fun.
Yeah, the slide to send is a nice feature. I don't know why that makes such a big difference from like tapping a button and hearing the like or sliding. But it really seems like you're sending something when you slide it.
It makes it feel like you're sending money because you slide across the screen. So here it is already. Look at this. My $2 is being sent over. Looks like somebody else sent $2.40. Whoa! Someone sent $7.19. Thank you for your donation. So the Derek J fundraiser. This is today on Bitcoin Talk Show. We're going to come back and talk about this, but you can also pause it now. And you can donate to this QR code, and we're going to read your donations on the air. So stay alert to this.
Wow, you guys rock. Thanks so much. I'm so honored. Like, wow, that's really cool. And isn't Bitcoin so cool like that? Like, you can see the donations roll in. Like, it's so transparent. I dig it. I do keep QR codes public because I don't care people knowing,
It is a great feature. Anyone can run a fundraiser just with blockchain.info. You can have the wallet on paper or Bread Wallet or Airbits in your phone on a web page, wherever you want to have the wallet, and then just go to blockchain.info and see if you got any donations and keep track
One
of
of
it.
the reasons I really like fundraising in Bitcoin online, like live, Thomas, is first of all, it lets you know if you're doing something right. Like, people can reward you instantly. There are the ability to send micropayments. Like, those people who are kicking $2 and $7.50 or whatever, like, they're awesome. But really, typically, I ask for like 50 cents a podcast, because if everyone did that, it would be, it would add up. It would add up to a lot, and it doesn't cost you any more to send like 50 cents or to send $5. So you might as well send some small amounts, and they add up. Like, it totally changes the paradigm. People are used to getting a cable bill, and you pay, whatever, $80 a month, and it rolls in your internet, and you get all the entertainment and the HBO and all that. But with shows that exist on the internet that are like niche shows, like Bitcoin Talk Show, which is for a very specific market, it's really cool that you can send people that money directly. Like, I don't know. I just think that's awesome. It's changing the paradigm of the way that entertainment is made, or infotainment, I guess.
Well, and that's what we were talking about earlier before the show. I always have this thing back in like 2003. I'd talk about YouTube and what is it going to be, and I'd say, well, eventually we're going to make videos for plumbers, and we're going to make videos where the plumber gets the girl, and plumbing how-tos and tips and fun stories on the job, and just whatever kind of media they would be into. Maybe even just escapist fiction. They don't want everything about plumbing, but the internet now gives us the ability to do that. Like, I wanted to create Bitcoin shows, and I saw Peace News Now, I saw Derek and Davi talking, and I was like, hey, I could do that. I could be on those shows. And then we started doing it, and then other people joined us, and now all kinds of people are making Bitcoin shows. And that's what's so great about Derek's new project is I don't think you could get more niche than homosexual anarchists. But like, now that's a show, that's a category, and when you find those people, like, maybe there's like 100 of them, 1,000 of them in the country, like, they're gonna love that show. They're gonna be like, this is the show that I've always wanted to call into, and I've always wanted to like watch and listen to, and they'll watch all the old archives. Maybe they won't find it right away, but they're gonna love it. And that's the thing. Whatever show you want, either it's out there or you can create it. So it's all happening now on the internet. This is Google Hangouts. This is a free live web chat type thing, and you can do it. I can do it. This is a couple $100 for a microphone and a camera, and a lot of practice talking. So you can do it too.
I agree. Courage is contagious. So if people are afraid to put themselves out there, I mean, just go out there and do it. I've started episodes of shows that I take down later because maybe they weren't so good. But at least you get the practice of doing it, and if it ends up being awesome, like, it could take off. So yeah, if you're out there and you're considering making your own niche show, do it. Just do it. You've got nothing to lose. It's almost free. Start with what you've got now. You don't have to invest a bunch of money to get started, especially with Bitcoin. You could just start raising money right away. And then, so I think it's awesome. If it's Bitcoin related, it might also work for the World Crypto Network.
Well, and I've got this letter right here. Let's go to the mailbag. We're not going to say this guy's name, but I am going to write back to him later. I haven't gotten to it yet. But we'll just call him Joey. And Joey writes, "Hi Thomas, I want to ask your advice. Apologies in advance for any grammatical mistakes. I'm dyslexic and drunk, but I hope my point gets across." He said, "You once said, do your own video, and your first 10 are going to suck." Sorry, I'm probably paraphrasing here. "I've done almost 20 videos now, and they all suck. What am I doing wrong? And thanks again in advance. I'll try to write when sober, when I can make more sense to both of us. Cheers, Joey."
And that's one thing.
Stop what?
Stop drinking.
There you go. Stop drinking is a good one. I mean, obviously, I hate to say it, the easiest thing is you have to do 20 more shows. Like, I tricked you. Like, I said it was 20 shows, but really it's 40. And then if you can do 40 and they're still no good, I'm going to be like, well, you kind of have to do 60 now. It's just a numbers game. You have to keep batting. Baseball players strike out hundreds of times a year, and yet they're still really successful. That's because they keep batting. And I know people tell me this for other things, and they say it works, and you're supposed to keep talking to the women and all that, but I'm working on that too. We're all working on where our issues are, and we have to keep batting. So.
Amen to that. Yeah, you just got to keep going. Keep pressing on. I probably shouldn't admit this on air, but I was editing one of the recent episodes of Peace News, and I didn't like it. I was just like, this sucks. Sometimes The most important thing you can do is listen to your own work or watch your own work and really study it, because that's the only way you're going to get better. You are your harshest critic. Despite all the horrible people on YouTube who leave comments, you are actually your worst critic. So yeah, make sure you watch your stuff. Hey, we had
It's
a
true,
caller.
Derek. I've thrown out some of my work too recently. I tried to do a BitPay parody commercial and it just didn't turn out. I tossed it. So,
Good call.
do we have a caller?
We did for a second. I don't know if I
Uh,
hung up on him or if he hung up. Just
all
realized.
right, we'll try. Let's give out the number again. People can Skype us at what is it, Derek? It's
Bitcoin
confusing.
Talk Show. Or
Oh, Bitcoin Talk
call
Show.
1-708-23 coins.
I should change my lower third that mine looks right too.
Yeah.
So many lower
So
thirds.
yeah, you can also tweet at BTC Talk. I have that open and monitoring that as well. So yeah, all different ways to get in touch with us. But Thomas had a couple of news stories, so I thought we would discuss that.
There we go. I got the right one now. So I've got the other RT story that was sent to us by Infinite Radio, I think it was, and it's Islamic State operative confesses to receiving funding through the U.S. And this is again through Bitcoin. So just something out there that people think might be taking the price down.
Wait a minute, why would our I don't get this. It's international if it's Bitcoin. It's not coming from the U.S. I mean, how do they know that it's coming from the U.S.? And why would anyone in the U.S. support ISIS? I still don't get that.
I don't know,
Are they
but I
just
mean, it could be a lark. They could just send him $1 for fun. I don't know.
why?
Sometimes maybe it's a mistake.
I don't get it. I mean, did they announce like, "Hey, everyone in the world, supervillains and mad scientists, we here at ISIS are accepting Bitcoin today"?
Well, first of all, I have to admit that as a big fan of the cartoon show Archer, every time someone says ISIS, I laugh a little bit because that was the CIA type organization that Archer was working for. It was like Spectre. So it's like they've taken a thing from a James Bond movie and made it real. But I don't support their goals, but if you look at the Islamic idea of creating a caliphate, of creating an Islamic State, which is the alleged goal of Osama bin Laden, the alleged reason for 9/11, and a lot of this terrorism. I mean, it's a large goal, and you can see why people might be drawn to that.
Hmm.
It's similar. It's similar to the large goal put forth by Adolf Hitler during World War II. The German state rising. If you look at Putin, what Putin's doing with the Russian state, large goal, large state, return to Russian power. A lot of people are attracted to these large banner ideas. They get behind them. So I mean, even in the U.S., where we have freedom, especially I believe religious freedom, despite that, there's still something. We've all heard the story of the way that Islam originally spread and the incredible way that it spread across Africa and Southern Europe.
I actually
And
heard. How did Islam spread across Africa and Europe?
like wildfire.
Oh,
There's different ways to look at it. One way is that it's a powerful religion. It's a really convincing document. It's well written, that kind of thing. Another way is that they have the habit of conquering nearby nations, and it's kind of convert or die. So I mean, it's much more detailed than that, but
that sounds like the Crusades. I think Christianity did that once.
yeah. Well, that was the Crusades was a really less effective version of the Islamic spread. The Islamic explosion of the religion at first was an incredible thing. Spain is half Moor, half Catholic. That was the high point of the Islamic spread of their religion. It took all of North Africa, all of those areas, and the Crusades were like, a small group of English people coming in. This was like all these countries turning Islamic. So again, it's an incredibly powerful religion, and not say anything negative about it, but yeah, I can see why people would be interested in it as a large idea, and especially, I disagree with the United States reaction to terrorism. I believe that fueled more terrorism, the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. So I could definitely see their reaction being similar to mine, that they don't really want our troops in their country. That's kind of what they're original attacks allegedly were about. And yeah, it's a big complicated issue.
Well, obviously these people want to do us harm. Look how close they put their country to our bases, our military bases.
And they live where there's oil. It's all their fault.
Hey, I guess I shouldn't laugh about that. The thing about Islam, I heard it's the fastest growing religion next to non-belief.
I am very impressed with what I hear about the millennials. They don't seem to believe in anything. They don't seem to have any dogmas. They aren't racist or bigot or anti-homosexual, any of those things. They're all like, no, we just want to do our thing. We don't care what you do. We just don't care. So.
Yeah, I am similarly encouraged by that attitude. It seems like humanity built up to this, like, we're warring all the time, and then like mutually assured destruction happened, and they're like, all right, let's cool off that a little bit, and now we're just like kicking our feet up. Yeah, we're done with this. We're not gonna fight anymore. I'm sick of it.
Wouldn't that be great? But let's go through some of these stories here. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Coinbase, a Bitcoin exchange, is operating without licenses so far.
Wait, you can't move on. I want to know what ISIS's Bitcoin address is.
You really think they included it in the RT article?
Yes. Why? Without that, it's just allegations. There's no proof. I want to.
I'm not seeing any QR codes here.
But you can actually look at the transaction log via blockchain.info, right? So you can see where the Bitcoin allegedly came from. They're saying that it came from the U.S., which I think is baloney. I think this story's a fluff piece. It's from RT, right? And they hate the U.S. They're just kind of trying to create negative propaganda against the U.S. This is, I say it's a lie. Do we have any evidence?
I'm not sure we have the blockchain evidence, but they do say that sources revealed that al-Safari was arrested sometime last year, and Youssef al-Safari revealed that he was getting funding routing through America to run the organization in Pakistan and to recruit young people to fight in Syria. So presumably this is the Bitcoin donation here. It does not seem that the address is made public. So
that stinks. I want to see some proof. Not because I want to send ISIS Bitcoin. I think that's despicable, and people who fund terrorism are awful and morally responsible for the terrorism that they fund. But like, I want some evidence also. I guess it's tricky for journalists because how can you provide evidence without also encouraging more people to send donations?
That's the thing, and even everyone knows that even just putting a QR code like this on the screen will make people randomly send donations. So I'm going to get out my Airbits wallet right now and see if it still works. Because have you guys heard, like, sometimes Bitcoin breaks and it doesn't work and you have to test it? So let's see, here we go. Oh, it's scanned. I think it still works. I'll only send you $1 this time, though. Oh, but look, it's...
problem where it breaks. I've had a problem where wallets don't open.
It's 0.00420 right now for $1 in Bitcoin. How about that?
It's pretty good.
So there we go. And let's see if it's sent. There it is, $1.01. And someone sent $2.40. And then we got a couple other donations. So we're doing pretty good here. We've got, let's see, 3, 5, about $12 so far. So very good if you want to donate to the Derek J. Fund right here, $12. And Michael Troder wrote in on the question and answer. It says, "Hi guys, nice to call in and hear all your encouraging talk." So great to hear from you too, Michael.
Hey man, thanks for interacting. And thank you all from the bottom of my heart for sending Bitcoin. That really is heartwarming. And I promise not to send any of it to ISIS.
Even though they don't have a public address. So let's see, we've also got my video is coming out soon. MadBitcoins goes to the O'Reilly Bitcoin Conference and the Internet Archive.
Yeah, tell me how that went. Do you have a video of that?
Let's see. It says the video is still being published, so we're going to wait on that. But I do have the webpage here from conferences.o'reilly.com, and there's a lot of confusion with the O'Reilly name. This is not O'Reilly from Fox News. This is O'Reilly Books. Like the people who make all the best computer programming books, and even if you don't know how to programming, they're written really great. You can just dig right into them. They have great subheadings and paragraph headings. You can flip through them. You don't have to read them, literally just pick to what you want to learn and learn it. These are the best books. And I was fortunate enough to be invited to their conference yesterday with a media pass. This was a $1,000 conference, so obviously way out of my budget, but really great to be included. They had a lot of great speeches. I was able to attend several of them. I did a lot of live tweeting. I hope everyone was following that yesterday. If not, you can rewind on my Twitter account. Check that out. I put some vines out, little pictures of the slides, and just a great convention. It's great to see Andreas, Peter Todd. I met Jackson Palmer from Dogecoin. Got to see the Airbits guys, all my other friends. So just really great. It was kind of like a lot of people from Miami. I saw the Factum guys when they were checking in, and just great to see the whole crew back together again.
What's it like when you go there? I mean, you walk in, you look around, you feel the place up to you, like, hey, you're MadBitcoins.
It does. Well, fortunately, this time I was undercover. I was Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter. I had my little, nice dress shirt on and glasses. No crazy hat, no crazy goggles. But I mean, in Miami, I was wearing the MadBitcoins thing and just doing it both days. And yeah, people come up to me, they want to take my picture, and it's really weird, but it's awesome, and I like it. I think it's fun.
But why
getting a weird fuzzy sound.
MadBitcoins journalist extraordinaire with your hat and glasses and everything?
I'm shy sometimes, man.
Oh, okay. All right. That's legit. I bet
it's better. Also, it's a big, expensive convention, and I'm not sure what the rules are, if they're gonna kick me out for being,
you're too silly for this convention.
It could be. It sounds like we're getting some strange audio in the background. Theo, are you making weird audio? Derek, are you plugged in right?
What?
No, I'm still hearing it. It must be in my headphones. Oh well, sorry guys. Keep going. But I do have the video starting here if you want to check out part of the video. Let me try to get the audio going out here. So check this out. This is the world premiere of MadBitcoins. Goes to the O'Reilly Bitcoin Conference and the Internet Archive. It was very early when I got up. Look at that, nada still. You could see the bridge. It's unbelievable. It's always fog. Yeah. So pretty well attended, within sight of Alcatraz, the famous prison. See, now those were his goal words for Bitcoin. That's what he thought Bitcoin could be. The very good presentation by BitGo. Now this is the video, Theo. This is it.
What Coinbase, one of the things that we're trying to do is essentially make payments just work.
Yeah, O'Reilly will be making their own video with the contents of these speeches, and they'll be releasing that as they see fit. So. A little bit of a Tatiana performance there, and Bill Janeway retweeted me. It's pretty cool. And there's Andreas signing books. Backstage. is my shelf of O'Reilly books. And it was just an incredibly clear day, and I should have just stood out there all day with my tripod and shot video of this bridge. But instead I went to the Internet Archive, which was absolutely an incredible time. I'd never been before. It's in an old church, Christian Science church.
Let's slowly adapt the building and have the building adapt to us. And so that's what we've been doing. The first thing, one of the things we did is we actually, we put servers in it. That's about 5 petabytes of the primary copy of the Internet Archive running. So this is it. There's another exact copy in either Richmond or in Redwood City, a partial copy in Amsterdam, and a partial copy in Alexandria, Egypt. This is for real. These are serving live queries. Every time a light blinks, it's either somebody uploading something or downloading something from the Internet Archive. We get about 3 million users a day, between 2 million and 3 million users a day. We're about the 200th most popular website. So I've been designing supercomputers my whole career, and I just love that the lights actually mean something. So that's what these are. You notice there's no air conditioning here. It turns out you don't need air conditioning for computers. You just need good open airflow or taking care of it. And it drops your power cost by about half. And you notice also you're not in a co-location center. Or in the cloud, wherever the fuck that means. And the idea of going trusting the cloud with data that you think is really important to you seems like a really dumb idea to us. So that's why we build and run and house our own machines. We have other places in the building that have these machines. We have we use the in one of the rooms we actually take the output, which is about 95 degrees, we go into our furnace, which we keep the gas turned off, and we use it to heat the building. So we use the energy twice. I think that we're the only data center that has over 100% energy efficiency, because we use it for the computers, and then we use it again for heating the building. No, it's not the windows. So it turns out that
skip ahead. There's lots of great stuff here in this interview. It was really great to meet Brewster Kahle, but he had something really good here if I could get to the end.
We give away all in that because we're or what it is we should be doing. I'm Brewster Kahle. You can send me email or whatever, and because we're getting, I'm Brewster Kahle. You can send me email or whatever, and just so that I can generally keep a general count. But if you're still just wandering around the neighborhood and you have no place else to go on Friday at noon, please come. Just try to find out how you can kind of plug in some way, or how some of the ideas we're doing might be useful to you. Or what it is we should be doing. In general, all the projects here start by going and saying, you have to do this, and said, you're enabled. And this is sort of how we get things done here at the archive. We don't have the best we have to offer on the internet yet. I mean, if you know something deeply, there's Wikipedia pages, there's stuff, but there's not, unless I guess it's Bitcoin documentation or something like that. But if you know something in sort of the real world, right, that might have some history over the last 100 years, it's probably in books or in newspapers that aren't there yet. And I feel a great deal of urgency that if we don't have the best we have to offer within reach of our kids, they're going to learn based on whatever it is they can get a hold of. And right now, it's kind of Wikipedia and a lot of corporate crap. And so we've got to move on and get this thing over and up. And so we're throwing ourselves at it, and we could use help.
I thought that was really powerful, that they're throwing themselves at it and they could use help. So, and that's the Internet Archive at archive.org, and they take Bitcoin, but again, web designers, put the Bitcoin address on the front page, put the QR code on the front page. Don't do this to me. Like MadBitcoins.com. QR code, front page, donate. So that's how that works. I can't find their QR code, so I can't help them. But archive.org, very cool people. It was great to go to the Internet Archive. It was very cool to go to the O'Reilly Bitcoin convention. I got to see Andreas, got to see Vitalik at lunchtime. I'm not very outgoing, but I did happen to sit at a table with Dan Gilmore, a legendary Bay Area journalist who created Indie Media and a bunch of other websites, and gave him a card for MadBitcoins, so maybe he'll check out the shows. And I met several other media people and gave them all stickers for MadBitcoins, met a lot of people who watched the show. Thanks to everybody who's watching shows. And yeah, it was really cool at the convention. Derek, any other questions about it? What else do you think?
Yeah, I want to know about lunch. Like, what was that like? Where did you sit? Who were you around? Did you talk to people? I mean, lunch is a good time. You're getting talked at for a lot of these things, you know? So, like, lunch is a good time where you can sort of talk about other things with people. You were networking a bit.
Well, I couldn't find my crew, so I didn't know where to sit. So I was kind of turned around, and I saw this older gentleman sitting by himself, so I figured I'd join him. And it turned out, like I said, to be Dan Gilmore, this incredible media guy. And he was joined by Scott, I want to say Rosenweis or Rosenthal or something, who I believe was also a writer, perhaps from Wired magazine or something like that. And we were also joined by an editor from O'Reilly Books. And so it was, pretty powerful table. And they were actually talking about Stellar and Ripple. And I was able to add some information to the conversation about the large person that was going to sell off all of their Ripple and how they had all the internal troubles. But it turns out that the
insider trading at lunch, I see.
See, there we go, the knowledge going around. But then it turns out that banks love Ripple, apparently. So they really want a back.
Banks love Ripple. Oh, because it resembles what they do.
It is.
Yeah, right.
And we're joined by Theo Goodman. Theo, what are your thoughts on Ripple?
Well, to be honest, I've never used it. So if you want to give me some Ripple to test out and you're a Ripple fan, then just get me up and I'll organize a Ripple address and I'll ripple around the world a little bit. We can Ripple you, Ripple me. Now, actually, Ripple is more of a payment system, and I look at it less as a crypto coin. So I think it could be useful if you just want to send some kind of funds from A to B, but it is centralized, and so that's why banks like it. And I think you tweeted a quote from the compliance director of Ripple Labs, and she said, for something to be widely used, it has to be regulated. I mean, it's not that I agree with her, but that's the direction they're coming from. And I do believe that a few banks, like Fedor Bank and a few others, do already use Ripple to move some stuff around. I don't know why they have to or what the advantage is exactly, but it is pretty interesting.
I'd imagine that it must be cheaper and faster than the traditional ACH system that the banks use to move money around. So it makes good sense that they'd be interested in Ripple, and we'll see how that all turns out, especially having Stellar, which is basically a clone of Ripple, also out there as well. So.
Well, check this out. So tomorrow I'm going to a conference too, so I'm going to report back from it, and it's called P2P Financial Systems 2015. Opportunities, Risk, Market Dynamics, and Regulation. And they just released, it is geared more to bankers. It has like a mix of people from kind of the banking world and payment world and a mix of some Bitcoin people. And they didn't release the detailed program until a few days ago. And I had a feeling there was going to be something interesting there. So that's why I paid attention. And it happens to be in my city too. But so this guy from the Federal Reserve of St. Louis is going to be the first keynote of the whole conference, okay? And he's going to be, listen to the title of this, FedCoin, on the desirability of a government cryptocurrency. Sounds pretty breathtaking, doesn't it?
Wow, we've joked about FedCoin a lot of times. It's pretty amazing to see them actually talking about doing it. Yeah.
So the Fed is going to launch a shitcoin. Are you ready?
Pump and dump. Somebody call that guy on Twitter.
So it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to report back. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is there. So guess it also takes place inside one of the buildings from the Central Bank of Germany. So they're going to be wondering. I'm wondering if they're going to ask this Fed guy, "Where's our gold?" But anyway, I don't know if you know that story, but anyway.
I've heard, yeah, Germany and France, some other countries want their
Right,
gold
yeah.
back from
And
the United States.
Andreas is giving the keynote starting the second day, so there is a mix of people, so it's going to be pretty interesting. So the keynote of the first day is probably going to be announcing the launch of FedCoin, and the keynote of the second day is Andreas. So this is a really diverse conference, so to say.
Nice. Well, be sure to take lots of pictures, do lots of vines, get out there on the Twitter. Go ahead, Derek.
Are you going to take high quality video? Or are you going to record this guy's speech?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna record as much as I can. I'm gonna bring this camera I'm using right now. It's a HD, and I got my nice microphone that I'm using right now, and I'm gonna be taking some pictures to tweet with my phone. It's pretty good, and if I meet someone interesting, I'll do a little interview with them and so on. So we'll have to see, how it goes.
I want to see it come from this guy's mouth when he's talking about FedCoin, like on the desirability of FedCoin, of a government cryptocurrency.
I'm gonna record that. Don't worry.
There is no desirability for this. I mean.
Oh, come on, government stability, government backed. You could trade them for fiat directly.
Well,
all of our fiat to exchange problems go away when you can change your FedCoin for dollars directly, right?
Yeah, just trust us.
Oh, I love your reverb. So you've got the effects ready to go, right? Like a DJ.
Yeah.
That's your new name, DJ. Get it, Derek J. DJ.
I have a mixer over here.
Yeah.
Nice. So I'm really interested. I guess they did their homework, but let's see. Let's see if this guy, David, really knows his stuff. I mean, if he's just talking a lot of, using a lot of catchphrases, and then, someone asks him a question about, I don't know, hash rate or Merkle trees or something, he's like, well, I don't know what that is. Then I don't know what. I'm just really curious to see. I mean, I guess they did their homework and are trying to do some weird centralized, e-currency thing using blockchain. I don't really get it, but let's see what happens.
Well, I have a prediction. He will not take questions from the audience, and if he does, they'll be like pre-screened questions. So it's like, write this on a piece of paper and send it forward, and we'll choose the ones we like.
Well, I've got a media pass, so I can say, hi, Theo Goodman, World Crypto Network. So, have you guys thought about how you're going to secure the blockchain, or I don't know what, I'll figure out.
Can I mine FedCoin? Media pass.
Nice. Wow, that has fringes on it and everything. That's very official.
Media. That was fun, man.
Where's the QR code is like they scan that just to check that it's real?
Well, they said there's one on the back that is like a smart business card. They said it has your wallet or your address and all your information. Yeah, it's a lot of information on there. Scan with a smartphone to share your digital business card. I don't know what this little one is, but it said press, media. That was super cool.
I dig it.
And there's also people that are used to work for the Fed, but don't anymore, and they're doing some kind of like crypto blockchain kind of. So maybe it's also some guys that, kind of said, hey, let's not do this anymore. Let's do something else. I'm really curious to see what some of these guys have to say about things. I mean, I'm sure I don't agree with most of what they say, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they're spinning this. And notice how the whole thing is called P2P financial systems. I can't find the word Bitcoin anywhere.
That's funny. That's what Andrea said yesterday about this convention is all the titles of these conventions are hedging their bets. They're like Bitcoin and the blockchain. Just in case Bitcoin's not the thing, we still have the blockchain, So I could see that with that title.
That's interesting. Point of clarification here, Theo. The person who's giving the first night's keynote speech, this Fed guy, is he a former or current chair of a Fed?
So I've put it in the chat for us because I want to get it right too. So the guy doing the first speech, David Andefato. I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. So this guy that's giving the keynote works for the Fed in St. Louis. There also is a guy, I think his hold on, his project I think is Coin Labs, and he's former Fed, but maybe he's come to the good side of the force now.
He's actually already given a speech. He gave a speech in May 2014. You guys want to see
Coin Labs? Coin Labs, the guy?
No, David Andolfado, the St. Louis Fed guy.
Ah, okay.
This video is from the YouTube account of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, which has less than 1,000 subscribers.
Is he talking about FedCoin? Is he talking about FedCoin on it? Okay, let's check it out.
I don't know. This is the first time I'm screening this. Looks very official. Dialogue with the Fed. I wonder how much.
Classy logos and graphics. I need popcorn.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Should I subscribe?
I asked the question, is Bitcoin a good investment? Well, I mean, I don't know.
Can you hear that okay?
I feel a little more confident in asking this question. Answering this question is Bitcoin a good money? Well, it kind of depends on what you mean by what constitutes a good money. Among other things, I think a good money should maintain a stable purchasing power over short periods of time. Okay?
Yeah, interesting that he says over short periods of time. Like, why would that be, Federal Reserve? Why not long periods of time?
Because the Fed can't seem to stop the boom and bust cycle.
Depends both on money supply and money demand. Advocates of Bitcoin, and for that matter, advocates for a gold standard, want a rigid supply of money. It's clear what's motivating that. It's legitimate. What they want is a supply of money that's free of political manipulation. Sure. But there's cost to that policy. The cost is that you're neglecting the demand volatility. You got a fixed supply, and you got a demand for money that could potentially behave very, very violently. And indeed, money demand, we know, can fluctuate violently in the short run. I mean, all you have to do is go and take a look at the Bitcoin price chart. I mean, Bitcoin's not changing when you saw those price fluctuations. What that was just the demand for this stuff was gyrating wildly. That also happens in times of financial crises like the one that we recently experienced. What did we see during the last financial crisis? We saw a flight to quality instruments like the U.S. dollar and U.S. treasuries, right? These were deflationary episodes. The demand for money and treasuries went up, the interest rates and yields plummeted. We had a moderate deflation during that period. To combat this type of demand volatility, wouldn't it be nice, at least in principle, if we could trust the stewards of this money supply, like the Fed, if we could permit them to supply additional cash when the demand was very high, to kind of stabilize the purchasing power of the object? Wouldn't it be nice if we could do that, right? You can't do that with Bitcoin or with, unless you program.
I don't think that would be nice.
Do that with gold. These are things that are in relatively fixed supply in the short run.
Why not, Thomas?
He's basically saying you can't rig the market. Like if the demand goes up and everyone wants some, well, you could just print some more and everyone would be happy. But they wouldn't be, because you would have devalued everyone's currency. So yeah, no, I totally disagree with that.
I disagree too. I mean, basically the same arguments that they use for the structure they have now, just using it in a, I guess, a kind of cryptocurrency form, basically.
I don't know. Do you guys even want to see more of this guy? He's kind of a joker.
No, but that's cool. That's interesting that you found that. I should have done research on him, but I'm really curious.
Well, we're doing it now. We're doing it live.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We've got an update from Twitter here. If you want to check the MadBitcoins Twitter feed, BitGo has sent us their slides from their presentation yesterday. So while the presentation is not online, we're not sure how O'Reilly Media is going to release that information, if they're going to release it. You can flip through the slides from BitGo. And like everyone knows, BitGo is a multi-sig provider for Bitcoin security. They think it's absurd that people aren't using multi-sig, and companies like Bitstamp have to get hacked before they switch over and use it. 93% of Bitcoin in single key addresses. And remember, if you have a single sig, it's all in one basket. That the key is on one computer. If that computer's hacked, they're going to take it. The web wallets are all the same. Coinbase, Mt. Gox, black boxes, holding your private keys. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. These web wallets are all the same. And again, these are official slides from BitGo. Web wallets, no good. Get multi-sig, get offline, get paper wallets, that kind of thing. So good slides, good work from BitGo.
What did they recommend for getting them offline? Do they recommend paper wallets? Or?
I think that they would probably just recommend BitGo. Basically, they would say that having their solution of them holding a key, giving you a key, and giving you a separate key is a better solution than paper wallets, is probably where they'd go. Just from a product standpoint, that's just where they have to be. I still like paper wallets.
Well, Sound Wallet also supports multi-signature.
Nice. Multi-sig on the record or the cassette from Sound Wallet. So let's see what else is going on here. We've got our graphics from Philippe. Maybe you guys just tuned in now. You haven't seen them yet. Got Derek J, the gunslinger, right there. We got MadBitcoins, Clint Eastwood.
Are we going to have a shootout? Is that the idea? I mean, or are we on the same team here?
I think we're on the same team, but this was back when we were in more trouble, and the shows were more dramatic. So, but today we're in less trouble, but we are collecting donations for Derek J at derekj.me/Bitcoin. Look, there's Derek doing shows for Liberty Radio, and if you like those shows, you can get out your Bitcoin wallet right now, and you can donate to Derek J. Well, that reminds me, I'm supposed to have a call with these Texas people. I wonder what time that was.
You know, I'm going to be hosting another show tonight that people might enjoy called Cop Block Radio. That's going to be from 10 to midnight Eastern, and it's very special. We're going to have the founder of copblock.org co-host this episode. So
very cool.
That's one thing that's a lot in the news.
So what kind of cop block actions have they been doing lately?
Well, it's all the same. It's like people, that's one of the things that's been changing over the last couple of years is people have smartphones, they're carrying around video cameras in their pockets, and it's really changing the way police behave when they're on video. So I see that as a real positive thing. They are public figures, so they should be held publicly accountable. Most people in their normal jobs are already on video, you know, in your store or office. So, you know, what's different about police? So this is great because it's all about accountability for everyone. It's not anti-cop at all. It's just pro accountability.
I can report that our fundraiser is up to $15. More than $15. Oh, we just have this, a $10.60 donation. We're up to $25 for this episode of Bitcoin Talk Show. Oh, and 60 cents. Thank you, thank you. Doesn't have to be a large donation. Small donations are cool too. It just has to be Bitcoin. You have to use this address here. It starts out with 1 piece. Isn't that cool? So 1 piece if you want to donate to Derek J. How about that, Derek? $25.
Awesome. I really can't tell you how blown away I am. And I'm also curious, like, how people are coming up with these figures, like $10.60. Is that a certain number of millibits? I can't quite read it off of the screen. Is it like a nice even round number somewhere, or is it just...
It looks like, well, I mean, the 60 cents was a 0.00251183. The other one was a 0.04437. So that's almost LEET, L33T, I guess. I don't know. 0.004237728. Just people are putting in numbers or putting in little dollar amounts. Every little bit helps.
I am so grateful to you guys. Thanks so much. I'm truly honored. And also a nice tip for you. If you want a cool address like mine is 1piece1, you can do that with a program called BitVanity. There are lots of different ways to do it, but I like BitVanity. It was nice and easy. I put my computer to work. I said, this is the address that I want. I want to start out with 1 piece in all caps. It takes a little bit longer that way, but if you just let your computer do it it took 3 days, but big deal. I mean, it's a computer. It's doing its own thing. I don't need to. It's no labor of mine, so you can.
Yeah, I've got to get one of those. I've got to get that running. BitVanity. That sounds cool.
Yeah, man, it's cool. What would yours be?
I don't know. 1 mad bit, something like that. We've had another donation for 61 cents. So thank you guys. Keep those donations rolling in. We're just tracking this here. Anyone can track this at blockchain.info. You can track any Bitcoin address you want in the world. Just copy and paste it in to blockchain.info. Very cool stuff.
Wow. Thanks. And thank you, Thomas. You know, we said this before, but it's like it's changing the paradigm of the way that media producers are paid. I always heard, now I never had any experience in like mainstream TV and stuff, but I always heard that they sort of get screwed. Some of these actors and people who produce content, we watch their shows years later down the road, but they're really not getting paid what we think they are, or you know, they're living in $1 million mansions or something. And I'm not saying I'm making $1 million doing this. I'm just saying, like, it's cool that it's direct. It's peer-to-peer. It's person-to-person. You're not going through some big media house or some, I don't know, Hollywood.
Well, and no one's telling us what to say or what not to say, and
Yeah.
but that is a problem I've noticed with a lot of people. The bigger the job they get, the more money they spend. So a lot of these media people, a lot of people just, even though you're doing well, there's still, you need more. You got to keep paying.
Theo writes to us via Skype that the Fed is messing with his internet connection. Oh,
Sorry
no.
to hear it. Sorry to hear that, Theo. Some kind of German problem. We've got a story here from the Winklevoss twins. Says that Bitcoin will explode the market cap beyond $1 trillion. So we're currently around $4 billion. So that would be a pretty huge increase. I think that's around $47,000 a Bitcoin.
I'm going to get tired of them saying stuff like this, because aren't they one of the biggest holders in the world of Bitcoin? So they have every incentive to be like, it's going to the moon.
Yeah, absolutely are. And I remember the last one to say that would have $10,000 a Bitcoin were the Drapers, the Draper family, and that's when Bitcoin was around 580, and we hadn't yet experienced this incredible lulls that we're going through right now.
So
it is pretty suspect.
The people who are investing in companies like Coinbase, and they're putting $75 million into this company. Like, are they buying $75 million worth of Bitcoin? Do they not? Well, I mean, why wouldn't you just buy Bitcoin instead of investing in this company? Do they think they're going to make more money in returns owning a share of company? Or I mean, what's the deal?
I think they do. I think they're going to make fees. Coinbase is a fee-driven company. They have a fee model. It makes sense. BitPay is also pretty much a fee model. They charge for service now. If you're a larger company, they have free merchant accounts for smaller companies. But if you want service, you have to pay. And I think that there's an idea that these companies around Bitcoin will be worth money because they're around Bitcoin. I don't know.
Okay, I get it. It's a little more assured. Like, you want to invest money in a business that, you know, a restaurant or whatever, that you know is going to make money, versus something that's sort of a speculative gamble.
Exactly, and we assume that they're looking at these companies and they're saying they take X amount of fees, they make X amount of money a month, they have this many employees, and they're working out the actual numbers of if a business makes money. I don't think that investors just want to invest in pure speculation or attempt to grow users forever with no plan to actually make money. It's very strange.
Well, that's cool. That tells me, you know, that bodes well for the future, because I like to see companies being invested in, because, like, okay, Coinbase is going to make money whether Bitcoin goes up or down, but if you put $75 million into Bitcoin and just cross your fingers, all right, you could lose a lot. You could lose millions.
I think it would be much harder to lose that money on Coinbase. Again, it's another one of these things where, yeah, we know everything, and if you could time travel back and buy Coinbase stock, but no one can buy Coinbase stock, just like no one can buy Facebook stock or Twitter stock during all those times. Unfortunately, a select few of very rich people are able to put into these large venture capital groups and then buy pieces of these early companies that, we all knew 2 years ago that Coinbase was incredible. But now Wall Street knows. Now big money knows. And, it's just... Coinbase. It's a bank. It's Bitcoin's bank. It's just, say what you will about it. It's a bank. They don't want you sending money to gambling websites or to the Silk Road 2 or whatever.
Yeah, but you can still do it.
You can still do it. They're not going to track your like wallet to wallet hops, and you have to understand like how respectable they are. Like they're a bank. They are respectable. It's yeah, dude.
Those words typically don't end up in the same sentence, but
yeah. No, well, they, the classic idea. They're classically receptive. But we've got some more news here. It says the Fed backs away from Bitcoin for real-time payments. The Federal Reserve appears to have looked at Bitcoin as a potential set of rails for real-time payments in the banking industry, but shelved the concept for now.
Huh?
They almost used Bitcoin.
Well, what? What does that even mean? Was Ben?
They wrote a white paper about it, and they thought about it, and they let the market know about it, and then they decided not to.
That's pretty cool. That actually is pretty cool. I'll take it.
I mean, they're definitely investigating it, and like we said, like Theo said earlier, we've got this guy doing a speech from the Fed on FedCoin. So that was a joke a few years ago. FedCoin, we were joking about it, and now it's not true, but it's something that very intelligent people are considering. They're saying, hey, that Bitcoin is something worth looking at. So you can't beat that.
I'll take it, even if it is just lip service. It's better than them ignoring it.
Well, we've got lip service, and then on the other hand, we've got Market Watch, the Wall Street Journal. They say, opinion, Bitcoin has no place in any portfolio. Ooh.
Why would they say that?
The value goes up and down.
Yeah, but you'd be stupid not to have like 1% Bitcoin. If you're, I mean, given the past.
That's not what this guy says. He says Bitcoin shouldn't even be on your radar. Ooh.
Oh. Well, so what's he saying? It's going to zero? I mean, that's the only way that you would say Bitcoin shouldn't be a part of your portfolio at all.
Well, here, going back to the roots of things, it has no true value, just like the dollar. Anonymity is a double-edged sword. Just like cash and the dollar, it has big volatility. Well, so does the dollar, but over a longer amount of time.
And so does gasoline. People put gas and oil in their portfolio.
Let's see. Will Bitcoin survive? Is it doomed? Perhaps not. Uh-oh. Chinks in the argument. He says you might like something less risky like PayPal stock or eBay or Apple. Ha 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 ha.
And all of those are down?
Yeah, well, 1.5%'s pretty down for eBay.
But that's a really weird article. Does this guy know what he's talking about? Has he written other stuff?
It's tough to say. I'm not familiar with his work. It says Jeff Reeves. It says he's a columnist.
All right.
He's written. His last article was "A Boring Stock Everyone Should Own: General Electric." I don't know. I mean, when you write these articles, I'm sure it's really tough. I mean, look at this other one. 10 reasons housing will remain buoyant in 2015. 3 financial stocks that will soon be trading at higher prices. 5 lingerie ads and 2 donuts. I mean, just these are these list articles people write.
Hey,
10. Go ahead.
Sorry to break in. We got someone in Germany who's writing a press release on what's going on tomorrow and needs some help translating into German. If
on the sidebar,
Germany, send all media you can. So I'll send this person Theo's way.
Cool.
Hopefully Theo can get a press release out there. Wouldn't that be cool? Generate some press about FedCoin in Germany.
That'd be cool. And they should say Theo from the World Crypto Network will be there to cover it for you.
I really want FedCoin to succeed, and I mean that sincerely. I think it would be too hilarious. It's kind of like I never predicted Dogecoin would have succeeded in the way that it did. So who knows? Maybe FedCoin will be the next big thing.
We do have some questions here on the sidebar. Let's go through some of these. We've got, let's see, where's the original question? They're talking about, okay, Michael says, can you recommend an Android app for Bitcoin and where to get it? And of course, my go-to is Airbits right now, which is on both platforms. You can also, like Dan Gould says, you can use Mycelium and Airbits. I like Mycelium. I think it's kind of hard to spell, but if you get through the first few letters, it should be all right. Let's see. They've got the link to the Google Store app for Anna recommends a Shieldback wallet. Check the wallet from Andreas Shieldback. It's in the Play Store. It's a free app. It's decentralized, open sourced, and it has a super easy UI. So that's very cool. And let's see. Another thing that Anna says is that she likes the additional features like the Mycelium local trader option. It's kind of like a local Bitcoins built right into the app, and the merchant directory and Airbits. But sometimes she thinks that that's too many features. It's too much. So you might want to try something like Mycelium just to be a more basic wallet. I hear Bread Wallet's supposed to be good for the iPhone. Blockchain.info, still a good wallet. People are down on them, but still works. Let's see, what else we got going here, Derek? Michael Trotter says, you guys are very witty, intelligent, and funny.
Aw.
Very cool.
So are you, and our listeners are so intelligent.
And attractive. Let's see, Dan Gould says the market cap for Bitcoin is just below $3 billion at 2.98. So we have lost a lot of ground since I said it was $4 billion, but that was before the price drop.
That's okay. Winklevoss says it's going to be $1 trillion, so we got nothing to worry about.
We've got a lot of ground to gain. Let's see. Dan Gould says that the cost of a central bank used to be acceptable, like the cost of a war when the central bankers wish to control people. Ooh. Dan recommends that people store their money in paper wallets, like the Piper paper wallet printer at cryptography.com. And that's a couple $100. You can print out little paper wallets, put your Bitcoin in there. Also, you can try the Trezor wallet. They sent me one of those to try. And the Ledger wallet. I haven't got a chance to try this out, but I picked this up in Miami. Thank you, Ledger Wallet, for donating that to me.
What's the prices on all those? The Piper increased their price a bit.
Yeah, it used to be tied to a Bitcoin price. The Piper was around $220, I'd say. Remember, the Piper is a printer. It has all of the facets of being a printer. The Trezor, I think, was around $100, maybe $120. I have it somewhere around here. The Ledger is actually the low-cost wallet, and it's only $35. And it's a little simpler. It's just a smart card on a little stick, and it just folds up like that. And you put your private key in there, and then you can use this to sign transactions, even without having to get rid of your paper wallet and make a new one.
So I can't really tell from here. Is that USB style or is that media card style?
I think it's I think it goes in a USB slot, but okay. It's just a card from a credit card. You know how a credit card has a little smart chip in it? So it's just a little chip that I assume it puts the Bitcoin code in there, the private key. And Jamie has a video actually on World Crypto Network doing a demo of one of these. If you guys want to check that out on World Crypto Network. And I'm going to try to check it out and do a demo video soon. But been traveling a lot. Let's see. Dan says he started mining today with a 1 terahash Dragon miner. Yippee! Good to hear somebody's still at the mining.
That's cool. I like hearing that there are independent miners, that it's not all just huge conglomerates who took over and they're like, we own this game. You can still break in, it sounds like.
And we have a question from Anna. Anna says, thanks, Thomas, for reporting from the O'Reilly event. What was the men-to-women ratio like? And I'd have to say it was pretty much mostly men. I mean, it was maybe 8 out of 10, 80% men. There were a couple women there. I talked to them. It was very cool to have them. But it seems like, again, it's kind of the finance game. It's kind of the CEO game. But there were women represented. It wasn't 100%.
No, it's finance. Women show up. I mean, it's going to be all guys if you don't show up. Anna, you're asking the question. Why weren't you there?
She's in Germany. Come on. San Francisco to Germany is pretty far. But yeah, everyone that was in the area, I mean, obviously it was also kind of an expensive conference. No denying that.
Women don't have money too. I mean, there's no excuse. It's not a male-dominated space. I don't want that to be the norm going forward in Bitcoin. I mean, women are a part of this community.
We had a great discussion yesterday on Twitter with @BradmanTV and some other people about childcare and the possibilities of offering that at a new Bitcoin convention so that families could attend, put their children in childcare, and then attend the convention.
interesting segue on the topic of women.
People were mixed on it. There are a lot of worries that it would cost a lot of money to get the insurance, to get the reputable child care provider. A lot of people thought we could put logos in there and brand it. And then there's the really cool idea of educating the children about Bitcoin with like fun and games. So it gets a little complex. But then there's the whole like, should you just get your own child care, personal liberty, personal responsibility, that kind of thing. And I suggested maybe using the dancing girls money for the child care, but then people would miss the dancing girls as well. So they're pluses. But you could just buy your own dancing girls. So there are pluses and minuses. Looks like we might have lost Derek. But yeah, Anna says they're having the Bitcoin Girls Night in Berlin once a month. So if you're a female and you're in Berlin and you're watching this, while we got really niche really fast, check out the Bitcoin Girls Night every month. And she was too far away for the San Francisco convention. But you should get to America soon. It's not that far. And I've heard the Germans get tons of time off, like a month or 3 months or something. So assuming we're still on the air here, even though I think we've lost Derek, we'll try to keep this going maybe for a few more minutes until we get to 2 o'clock here on the West Coast. Volatility, deflation, and manipulation, a response to Bitcoin's critics. And this is from John Matonis, former head of the Bitcoin Foundation. And it's a good article. He wrote back, and yeah, like everything's going to be volatile. Deflation is awesome, and very small markets are manipulated. So yeah, it's probably happening to Bitcoin. But we're going to get bigger. Speaking of the price of Bitcoin is still kind of declining. It went to 219. If we zoom in a little bit here, we still see the large cliff. Went off the cliff. We had a small minor recovery, if you could call it that, to 225. And we dropped back down to 219. Citi Digital Chief, Bitcoin's economics are flawed. So once again, we've got another banker coming after the Bitcoin. Although, really, when you look at this spark chart up here, boy, that is a downturn. The $20 drop this morning was a major downturn, sudden drop. And Gizmodo tells us that more than half of Americans have no idea what a Bitcoin is. So that's why I really think, toot our own horn here. The work we're doing here is important. People watch videos, they listen to podcasts, Let's Talk Bitcoin, Epicenter Bitcoin, Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, everybody that's chipping in doing this media thing, whether you're getting paid or not, whether you're doing well at it or not, we're doing good work. People need to know what Bitcoin is. They don't know what it is. Not everybody learns the same way. We're not all going to learn it on a forum or on a strange how-to website. Some people need videos and they need audios and they like it. So it looks like we're rejoined by Derek J. How's it going, Derek?
Sorry, I was muted. Hey guys, I'm back, and yeah, we do something cool at the store that I work at, and anyone could do this. We have some printable literature, just what is Bitcoin, and people, when they're at the register ready to check out, they hand over their credit card or their cash, and then they see this little card there that says, what is Bitcoin? It's attractive, it's got yellow and shiny, and so they pick it up. So you could take that with you. Bitcoin's a new type of money. Have you heard about it? And most of the people, I would say, have not. Some have. It probably is, like the article says, about 50-50. And that's pretty cool. So at the very least, getting the information out there little bits at a time is key. Because the first time people hear about it, it's like with the billboard. You see an ad the first time. After you see it the 1,000th time, it's like, okay, I really get this. I know what it is. I've heard about it. I know people who use it. I know where I can spend it. Just introducing people to Bitcoin in small bites, I think, is key.
Hey, I kind of wanted to ask, can you guys hear me?
Hey, Roman, what's going on?
I kind of wanted to ask, I don't have headphones on right now, so I'm going to have to mute as soon as I'm done talking. What your guys' opinions of those articles are? I've read a couple in the last 3 or 4 days. One says 65% of Americans don't know what Bitcoin is. One says 80% of the world doesn't know. One of them says only 35% of Americans don't know what Bitcoin is. I was wondering what the collective idea of what the accuracy of that is about.
How could we know?
Well, I mean, I think we have to assume it's pretty accurate. There's scientific samples. There's ways of doing polling. Polling is, well, there's different ways to look at it. There's push polling, where I say 90% of all people know that, and now I'm convincing you that you should know that as well. That's a push poll. So it could be one of those where they're trying to say less people know, but I think it sounds about right. But it's also a question of how you ask the question. Knowing what Bitcoin is versus hearing about Bitcoin. I think a lot of people have probably heard about Bitcoin, probably far higher numbers, but actually, do you understand it? Do you own any? Do you use it? We're still a very small group. I guess the Reddit group broke 150,000 subscribers, which is excellent, but is also still very small.
From what I remember from Gizmodo, as a good point you're making, Tom, that I don't believe it was a push poll. What they were saying is they were citing it as a Google survey, and they also mentioned that it was people that are familiar with it. I don't think it was, have you just heard of it? I think it is, are you familiar? Do you at least know that it's a digital hash rather than something, what do you know about it, if anything at all? And I think if you didn't know anything, they were responding, no, I don't.
Well, and also it's good to have these numbers as a starting off point. If your goal, like my goal, is to get everyone in the world to use Bitcoin, we're looking for 100%, right? So if we're at 65% not knowing about it, that means 45% do know, and we just need to work that up to 50%. We need to work 1% at a time, convincing people every day. And I know everyone's working in Bitcoin companies now, and everyone's like making Bitcoin websites, and we're all tweeting about it, and we're all trying to spread the word in our own way. And we just need to do that till we get the percentages up more. So I think it's a starting point, and it's a great starting point. 45 is way better than 25 if you really look at that.
I would say if it's a Google poll, then it's probably a little high, probably a little higher than it normally would be, because
nerds.
Yeah, keep in mind that there are still people in the world who do not use the internet, who don't. I mean, and even in the U.S., I'm not talking about Africa here. I'm talking about.
How can you say that? How can you say that? Don't say that.
True. I mean, this is the reality. There are people who called into Free Talk Live recently for a weather report, and I'm like, check online. I mean, are you crazy? You're calling into a radio station to know what's going on with the weather? But no, this is the reality, that there are people who just will not do it. They like their traditional methods of newspapers and radio. And so I think it's important to reach out on all outlets. Like I talked about, meet the people where they are. When they're spending money, especially, like that's why I put literature next to registers. And you can go around. This was another cool idea. I don't know if I'm breaking news or secrets or anything, but there is a secret group of people who are a Yelp community, and their idea is to become the top person for Yelp. So if you check in at a place more times than anyone else, then you become the top rating or reviewer. And so the key is to be that person in a lot of places in your area, and then give 4 stars and say, this would be 5 stars if you accepted Bitcoin. And then, I mean, they're going to have to, right? They want that top review to be 5 stars, so they'll at least consider it. They'll look into it.
Sounds pretty cool.
New Hampshire.
One of the hardest things about describing Bitcoin is describing the use of it.
That's why you just got to get it on your wallet and spend it. Send it around. Donate it, even. I'm just going to do
I don't even try to tell people it's anonymous. I claim the pseudonymous.
Yeah, pseudonymous is better. It's more complicated, but it's more true.
One thing I've done is really try and simplify my language, like because I'm talking to a lot of folks who shop at a thrift store, and so I want to keep it simple. So I just say it's a new kind of money, and you can keep it on your phone, and you spend it from your phone. You know, like anyone could get that, and they don't have to understand anything very technical.
Yeah, I generally go with the decentralized part about it, that you're not paying larger fees and involving other middlemen and security risks.
Yeah, I guess it depends who you're talking to. I mean, tailor your language, but keep it simple if you can. I think people, if it's too complicated, they're going to nod and smile and act like they're understanding, but it's going to go right over their head.
Got a couple more questions here. Dan Gold says, right on, Anna, for doing the Bitcoin night out in Berlin for the girls. Dan says that we should all relax. Bitcoin will succeed. And that 2015 is the year to attack Bitcoin. So we're going to be going through this all year long. And I imagine Dan's probably right. We're going to see more strange $20 drops, more negative articles, more everything, because this is Bitcoin.
Amen. Oh, hey, look at that. It's 5 o'clock. Here on
5 o'clock. So probably about time to end up the show. Just to recap again, thanks to O'Reilly Books for having MadBitcoins in the World Crypto Network at their conference yesterday, Bitcoin and the Blockchain. We did lots of tweets. We've got the video out there with the Internet Archive, and I did find their donation address. It was buried on their donate page, and then you had to click on Bitcoin, and then it showed up, so it was like 3 clicks deep. But if you want to donate to the Internet Archive, which I'm wearing their hat, they do the Wayback Machine. You can look up old web pages.
I'm going to donate to them right now.
Oh, they do old web pages. They do books. They do music. They're doing records now. They're doing videotapes. They did the Prelinger videos, those great old home movies of Disneyland and other places in the 1950s. And they're just dedicated to hosting our data and saving everything. And it was really, really inspirational to go there. And great to meet Brewster Kahle and to capture a little of his tour. And you can watch the tour on MadBitcoins, MadBitcoins YouTube or wherever. And we're also still collecting money for Derek J. Let's do this one more time. I've still got a couple bucks in my wallet. Let's get that out here. I've got the Airbits wallet here. So you just do send, scan the QR code, put in $1, and slide to confirm. It's just that easy. People say Bitcoin's hard. People say we need simpler ways to use Bitcoin, and they're full of it. Bitcoin is fine. You can send microtransactions. Look, someone just sent $1.02. We got $3.19 and 24 cents. Look at that, 24 cents in Bitcoin. That's a microtransaction, people. We don't need your token substrates. And look, $1.20. And hey, we reached our goal. We pushed the final balance over $500. Woo! So what is that? Maybe 28 or maybe almost $30, Derek. So how about that? $30. You can get a nice meal somewhere.
Well, thanks, guys. I am really touched. Thank you for donating.
Hey, yeah, and I just wanted to mention, you know, the microtransactions, the change tip, the easy wallet, little sends and everything. I've never donated to any article or any news group or anything until this came out, until I was able to do it very easily with its microtransactions, because doing it through a credit card's a bitch. So, you know, no.
Credit cards, definitely not the way to go. Although YouTube has that new program, you can donate through YouTube with a credit card. And I think they might average it all out. So they might put all your transactions together, do them at one time, pay less fees, something like that. So there is a YouTube credit card donation program that's check that out. And hopefully they'll take Bitcoin soon as well. So
The other thing is,
it's really cool when people read a great article and you like it, you want to reward them for that. You could just send them whatever you think it's worth. You could just send them money directly from you to them.
And more people are including their QR codes and their Bitcoin addresses on their page for their articles, for their videos, for their artwork, and you can donate to them directly using Bitcoin.
And it's killing the minimum amounts.
Absolutely, and it's helping everyone make more art, and that's the point of a lot of this. Is like, you know, I like art, you like art, we like music, we like videos, we like TV. Well, you got to chip in. You got to help them make that. And it takes a lot of time to make like a detailed artwork, these kind of things. So everyone should donate. I think we're about out of time. Derek, do you have anything to add for the end of the show?
No, just peace and love to everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll do this again next week.
All right. Roman, anything to add?
No, just thanks for having me for the last 5 minutes.
Very cool. And we're out of time. Bye-bye.